Hi, my name is Jamie, and I'm an early child educator. I'm currently attending Aspen University to finish my early child education bachelor's program. This is a video in accordance with guiding preschool behavior. Um, yeah, I got that right. Guiding preschool behavior. Sorry, we're talking about emotions in this course. And right now, my perception of emotion is anxiety because I am videotaping and I'm not very much of a camera person. I'm very camera shy. But anyway, on to what we were saying. um, so I'm going to be talking about emotional development and how social emotional learning, how we can impact as teachers, children in social emotional learning. First, I'm going to talk about the three main components of emotions. So I kind of talked about the first one, perceiving. Right now, I'm perceiving a complex emotion of anxiety. But emotions are developed even in infancy, where children feel either contentment or distress, and then develop even more basic emotions such as anger, fear, and joy, and then more complex emotions, which are self-conscious emotions, like what I'm feeling right now, which is anxious, such as anxiety, embarrassment, pride, shame, sadness, disgust in something. These are more complex emotions. And again, perceiving emotion is knowing that you have an emotion. It's not necessarily identifying the emotion, but knowing that you have the emotion. You can see this in when children express their emotions. And this is the next component, expressing those components. You may see in someone's face that their face changes because they are feeling an emotion, and so their facial expression changes. This is also known as venting. And they can, sorry, I'm kind of looking at my notes too while we're doing this because how I'm expressing my feelings is probably my facial expressions. And later on we'll get to regulating and how I'm regulating those. But facial expressions such as crying, sulking, or complaining about it. You might have a 2-year-old or 3-year-old or even a 1-year-old. I've even experienced this in my pre-taught class that I teach right now. I have 1-year-olds that do not want to get their diaper changed. I will tell them because it's very important to tell a child what is getting ready to happen so they can, prepare themselves for the next step. It's also respecting them to let them know what is happening. So I let them know that they're getting their diaper changed next, and a lot of them say no or they run away because they just don't want to go up on that high changing table. It could be that they're scared that it's so high up, or maybe they've had a really bad diaper rash and diaper changing is not all that great for them. There's many different reasons, and I try to use different coping mechanisms for that. Either they can bring their favorite toy up there, or we have one-on-one songs that we sing, and that kind of helps them in regulating those emotions. But I also say what emotion that they're having, because I believe that it's important in that regulating skills. And then there's active resistance. This is kind of like a non-aggressive way where they will either verbally or physically express. So the 1-year-old expressed physically that they're not getting their diaper changed by running away. And verbally, when they get older and they can learn, they can say, no, I don't like that. There's different ways that they can express. And then as children get older, they can just express dislike, meaning that they could say, no, I don't want you to play with me. This is very common in pre-K, pre-kindergarten and preschool classrooms. I have dealt with this a lot, and I actually let the person that knows that they don't want to play with them anymore, the reasoning why they don't want to play with them anymore. It's okay not to play with someone. You shouldn't force a child to play with someone else. But if it's because they are upset with that person, then they need to resolve that emotion, that negative emotion, and move forward. And I usually do conflict resolution with the preschoolers that have done that before. They don't want them to play with them because they've knocked down their tower a billion times. And the reasoning why that they probably knocked down their tower is because they're feeling like they're left out and they want to play. So I give in the verbiage of, is verbiage even a word? Anyway, I give them the words such as, I see that your friend wants to play. That's why they keep knocking it down, because they like how it knocks down. However, you don't like it that they are knocking it down. Now, what can we do so we can maybe build together, and try to give the child the idea of that child's not wanting to do any harm to them. They're not wanting to make them angry. They just want to play with them. And then the other child just doesn't know how to play just yet. And that's another component and another story about how children play and how they try to get the attention of another person to play with. And then there's aggressive revenge and expressing emotions. I see this a lot. Where children will, actually I've seen this recently, and it broke my little heart because I saw that the child was very upset. I asked how the child's day was, normal communication. I just came into the classroom. I asked how the child's day was, and they thought they had a pretty good day, and it probably was a good day considering, previous days in the week. It probably was a really great day. However, the other teacher said, no, they didn't have a great day. They did this, this, and this in front of the child. I could tell that this child was feeling like their self-esteem was attacked. Like their self was attacked. They were not happy. Which I could tell, and I tried to revert it back like, oh, but you said you had a good day. Let's point out the good things that you had. But this child had already set in their mind that, oh, you're going to tell my parents that I had a really bad day today. And that's not what I saw. I saw something different. So their first reaction was to start hitting and be aggressive in a way to express their feelings. And finally, when they settled down a little bit, I asked them, I was like, were you upset because someone said that you had a bad day, but you really thought you had a really good day? And they said, yes, that was the reason why that they got upset. And so we talked it through about, how did that make you feel? And he said it made him feel angry. And so I told them, well, when we're angry, what are some things that we can do when we're angry? What do you like to do when you're angry? Because I had told them that when I feel sad or angry or nervous, I like to play with Play-Doh. Play-Doh is my go-to in helping me regulate those emotions so I can think them through before reacting. And they said they like to run. I was like, but can we run inside the classroom? And they were like, no. I was like, but can we jump inside the classroom? And they were like, yeah, we can jump inside the classroom. I was like, okay, then you pick a place and we jump until we have that anger kind of out of us. And I told them, it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel that way. But what's not okay is to hurt someone else because we are angry. Instead, we need to think about what we're doing beforehand. And tell them, I am angry because you said I had a bad day. And giving them those words. This is going to take a long time for children to learn. It's repetition. Because different situations are going to be different results. And it's how they have mastered that skill. They need to practice it to master it. Anyway, going on. And some children, when they are expressing their emotions, they will avoid. They will just shut down and not want to talk about their emotions. And at this point in time, like when a child does that, instead of saying, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, you can simply just tell them, I understand that you are upset or sad. When you are ready to talk about it, I'm here to listen. And checking in with that child is important, because you have to let them know that you really do care. You really want to know what's making them upset. And that's part of regulating. I'm saying a lot of things about how to regulate. But the last, and expressing, children learn how to express their feelings and their emotions by the influences in their environment. So that is their parents, how their parents resolve conflicts in front of them. That is social media. That's media in general. So what they're watching on TV, how characters solve violence. And this is where sometimes things on TV are not the greatest. Even some books, like superhero books. I usually try to reword things, like the Hulk was smashing down buildings. Why was he smashing down buildings? Is that okay? He was feeling this way. Do we do that when we're angry? Giving them those regulatory skills, because if not, they're going to think, oh, I'm angry, I can knock down buildings like the Hulk. There's just all those different kinds of things that are influenced by children, or influenced by the environment to children on expressing their feelings. There we go, I got it. So we as teachers really need to watch how we regulate ourselves too and express our emotions. The classroom does get frustrating. It does. I've been in a pre-K classroom of 24 kids, and not everyone gets along all the time. They don't. The noise level gets really loud sometimes, but being able to regulate yourself, and especially expressing I statements, I feel hurt because my ear, I feel hurt. No, I feel, I feel overwhelmed because my ears are hurting because it is very loud in here. Or it hurts my feelings when I ask you to please clean up and you don't. Those kind of things. I would usually say, it's a lot of work cleaning up these toys. Who could help me? And that's why I said earlier that my regulatory thing when I feel overwhelmed is I will get out Play-Doh. That I know I'm sensory driven. I know that if I'm manipulating something, I tend to calm down more. Like right now, you can't see my hand because this hand over here, because I'm playing with my sweater or something nearby, because I'm very, like, that's how I regulate my emotions. When I'm feeling anxious, or mostly anxious or overwhelmed, that's how I regulate my emotions. And regulating emotions, you really have to stop, think, and interpret how you're feeling. So right now I'm feeling anxious, and I'm communicating to everyone that I do feel anxious. And how I'm regulating it is I'm pretending that I'm talking to my friends about social emotional development and how we can express learning through social emotional learning. But for someone who can regulate their emotions, they can monitor their feelings. They can differentiate. Okay, they can express different feelings. Cannot speak them for right now. But they know when they're sad. They know when they're angry. They know the difference in between angry and frustration. They can experience feelings clearly. So when they know that they're angry, they know that they're angry. They know that they're not frustrated, they're frustrated, and labeling those emotions. That's important, to label those emotions. Even for 1-year-olds, it is important as a teacher to label emotions, even in the simplest terms. Because as 1-year-olds, when they have a feeling that so they are perceiving a feeling of they're aggravated because a child stole their toy, they could communicate that by biting. And then, but regulating those emotions, us as teachers, we can say, oh, that makes you angry that they stole the toy. Instead, we can do this, this, and this. We're putting a label to that emotion so they know how they feel. And then in regulating those emotions, you improve your feelings from time to time. So right now I might feel anxious and, nervous, but over this time of this video, I'm at 16 minutes now, I've been feeling more and more comfortable in talking. So I'm improving my feelings. I'm not as nervous as I'm talking more and more. And then strategies to modify. So, children might use previous experiences. We even use previous experiences on how to modify our reactions and our emotions based on what is happening around us. And that is how we put everything together. We strategize, we change, we perceive the emotion, and then we communicate it. But it's how we communicate it and how we regulate it, regulate those emotions. And it's important for children to be able to regulate emotions so that they can have positive interactions, social interactions with others. And in concluding in this, I think it is very important as early child educators to be advocates for those children, especially in the scenario that I was talking about with that young child. It is up to us to regulate what we feel and what we think around children, even in a negative aspect or a positive aspect. How we communicate with children affects them emotionally. And I believe that is up to us to come up with different strategies in helping children learn how to socialize and develop emotional skills to help them develop those relationships with others. So that is the end of my video. Hope everyone enjoyed it, and thank you.